Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, everyone. India Heritage Foundation London extends a very warm welcome to every one of you for uh, today's session. Let's begin with prayers invoking blessings of Guru and Gauranga. And uh, given that the appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming in less than 3 weeks from today, we will also um, sing a special prayer to invoke blessings of Lord Chaitanya. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is a song composed by our beloved Purvacharya Srila Narottam Das Thakur, and this is a prayer from his composition called Prarthana. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Goya Karo More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Goya Karo More Toma bina ke dayalo jagat samsare Toma bina ke dayalo jagat samsare patita pavana hetu tab masamapati Patita pavana hetu tava avatara mosama patita prabho na paibe ara mosama patita prabho na paibe Ara ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripavalo Kana Karo আমি বড় দুঃখী কৃপাবলোকানা করো, আমি বড় দুঃখী, দয়া করো সীতাপতি। অদ্বৈতা গোসাই, দয়া করো সীতাপতি। অদ্বৈতা গোসাই, তব কৃপা बोले पाय चैतन्य निताय। तव कृपा बोले पाय चैतन्य निताय। आह स्वरूप सनातना रूप रघुनाथ, आह स्वरूप सनातना रूप रघुनाथ। भट्टा जुगा श्रीजीव प्रभु लोकनाथा। भट्टा जुगा श्रीजीव प्रभु लोकनाथा। दया करो प्रियाचार्य प्रभु श्रीनिवास। दया करो श्रीयाचार्य प्रभु श्रीनिवास। रामचंद्र संगमगे नरोत्तम दासा। रामचंद्र संगमगे नरोत्तम दासा। जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय, जय गौरानिताय। जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय, जय गौरानिताय। जय नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर प्रभु पदा, नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर प्रभु पदा। जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधे। जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम वृंदावन धाम। जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम वृंदावन धाम। जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय, जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय, जय गौरानिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। निताय गौर हरि बोल। हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna. Today is the fourth day of Russian aggression on Ukraine, and we are seeing all over the world, people are shocked to see the brutal aggression of Russia, and we are getting to know a lot of details on what is happening on the ground, how the forces are trying to capture the major cities. Over the last 4 days, as we understand, nearly 120,000 people have tried to leave the country through the adjoining borders of Romania, Poland, Hungary, and other places. A lot of people having no options to go are stuck in the a crossfire between the Russians and the Ukrainian armed forces. And we've also seen how people have taken shelter of railway substations, bomb shelters, and every now and then there are these sirens going out, warning people of air raids and bombs coming in. And I think close to about 500 people have died, including civilians, and many civilian residential places have been targeted. We saw pictures of residential apartments being bombed, and the pictures of grief, families separated from their loved ones, anxiety amongst the families of people who are having one of their family members serving in the armed forces. Now there is martial law. There are people are obliged to be apart. Many civilians are enrolling themselves to take on this war to protect their motherland, and so on and so forth. Sanctions pouring on Putin, sanctions pouring on Russia, Russian banks, assets being frozen, their businesses being frozen, their ships being seized. So many of these developments, the world is reacting very strongly to this incident, which is seen to be a blatant violation of many international agreements. And we are also seeing how United Nations has been such a puppet organization, which is hardly having any hold on any of its member states. And all of this news is flowing in, and there are many protests within Russia and also outside Russia against the whole development that's in progress. And at the outset, our heart goes out to all those people who are going through anxious moments, are going through so much of suffering, have lost their home, have lost their loved ones, so much uncertainty about their future. So it's a great disaster that has unfolded, a humanitarian crisis that is unfolding out there, and we feel very deeply. We are very saddened and very pained by the ongoing developments, and we pray to their lordships, to Srila Prabhupada and to their lordship Sri Radha Krishna Chandra, that peace be very soon there be a peaceful environment, and people can get back to their normal life. Although it's going to take a while, but we hope and pray that things come back to normal. And it is very heartwarming to see. There are many devotees of Lord Krishna who are part of the Hare Krishna movement, and in Ukraine alone there are about 54 centers, and likewise there are centers in Hungary. And the devotees, as I understand, have let me share this with all of you. Yeah, so this was something that I came across in the news. ISKCON opens doors, comes to rescue of stranded people. They're providing food, they're distributing prasad. So we can see wonderful efforts of devotees trying to reach out to people who are distressed by distributing prasadam from all the centers in Ukraine and neighboring. Interviews of devotees giving updates about how they have been during this most difficult time when there is war at home. Devotees sharing This is again in a train substation. There is prasadam distribution going on, and devotees volunteering and doing the needful. So, and likewise, a lot of humanitarian aid pouring in from many parts of the world, donations coming in to help people rebuild their life, to neighboring countries providing all kinds of support to the people and all of that. So while all of this has been the highlight over the last week or so, and everybody's thought is with the people and the suffering of the people of Ukraine. It is important at this point in time that we try to see these things from the Vedic perspective in terms of what will be the future like, what will be the solution to these problems, and how we can prevent these kind of incidents unfolding. Now, with all the determined efforts of so many world leaders getting involved in assuming that this war comes sooner for the better, to an end, there will be treaties signed like there have been treaties signed in the past, agreements signed like there have been agreements signed in the past. But it is to be noted very carefully that there will again be an instance for war, there will be an instance for aggression, as has been the case in the past. And considering, I was just going through, and I would like to share this with all of you. I was just going through the conflicts that have unfolded in Europe alone since the Second World War. In fact, this website tracks down the conflicts that have unfolded since the I think from quite a long back, from first century BC. It starts tracking all the conflict, different wars that were fought, Macedonian War, Romanian War. Let's try to see the history from at least the last 50 years or 75 years, from at least from the last World War. Now, you can see from 44 onwards, I'm just taking you through a few glimpses of all these different. This is from Wikipedia with all references to the details of each war: Turkish invasion of Cyprus, Third Cold War, Spanish War. I was scrolling through the different conflicts that have unfolded in the European continent, nearly around 125 of them: the Bosnian War, the Yugoslavian War, Croatian War, Georgian Civil War. These are the ones in the last 20 years, different unrest. So, and here we also see Russo-Ukrainian crisis. So like this, one or the other unrest is all constantly unfolding. One or the other civil war or this war or that war is constantly unfolding, and this will go on. Although everybody desires peace, nobody wants to live in a situation where there is a war that is happening in your neighborhood. Nobody wants that. We make great efforts to avoid all these things, but unfortunately, we can see these are around nearly 125 such conflicts since World War II. That is in the last 75 years, and there will be more that will come. This is one of the, what is happening now is one of the biggest of such conflicts that has come since the World War, a land invasion. So that was something that was of this scale, had never been witnessed in Europe since World War. So which is what raised so much of alarm. So the yes, for People who really want to understand why these conflicts are unfolding. And along with these conflicts comes unlimited suffering of people. And people who are eager to find a solution to these problems. People who are eager to uh, find an arrangement to live at peace with one another. They must take note of the teachings of Lord Krishna. They must take note of the teachings of the acharyas to understand why this problem is existing in the first place. The basic, uh, the basic fault is because so long people identify themselves with their bodies, thinking, I am American, I am Russian, I am Ukrainian, I am British, I am French. All of this is coming from a bodily identification. There shall always be selfish interests, selfish motives, uh, and they will be clash amongst people. So long we identify ourselves as belonging to this body. I belong to this body. I belong to this land. I belong to this country. This is coming from a bodily identification. So therefore, because I identify with the body, I'm interested in the welfare of my body and that which is connected to my body, me and mine. What is connected to my body? My family, my community, my countrymen, all coming from the identification. The basis of all this identification is I am this body. I am this body, and they are their bodies. So I'm interested, I'm having certain interests, and they're having their interests. This whole spirit of nationalism is an extended, it's an extended form of identification with the body. We identify, we are Germans, we are Russians, we are Americans. Why? Because all of us were born in this land. Who is born? The body is born. We identify ourselves as belonging to as this body, and because we have taken birth in this life on this land, therefore we are all one. And they are different because they have lived, they have they are their bodies, and they are from a different land, and they have their interests, and we have our interests. Because every person identifies and is working towards his own self-interest, therefore they will be clash. Just like if there is a pond, and if you drop multiple stones and there are multiple ripples which are generated, these ripples will clash with each other. And on the other hand, if there is a common identity to which everybody can identify with, as Krishna is stating in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamaivamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, that every living entity is my part and parcel. Krishna is saying, Sarvayoneshu Konteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tasam Brahma Mahadjonir Aham Bija Padapita. I am the seed giving father. Krishna brings the concept that every one of us are children of God. We all are spirit souls. We are part and parcel of Him. And we belong to one family. So people talk about universal brotherhood. People talk about universal sisterhood, fraternity. All this is not possible on a material platform unless one comes to the point of appreciating that we are spirit souls and we belong to Krishna. We belong to God. We're children of God. There will never be unity amongst people. And we can see that how in a movement which has fairly very recent origin, just in the last 50 years, there are thousands and thousands of devotees staying and living together, working together, although they belong to various nationalities. Somebody from Russia, somebody from America, somebody from Africa, somebody from China, but they live together and they work to serve Krishna's mission, and they're united in their understanding that they're all spirit souls having different bodies. Somebody is in a woman's body. Somebody is in a man's body. Somebody is in an animal's body. But all of us, we belong to God. So this is called Pandita Samadarshina. A Pandita does not make distinction that they're different, I'm different. No, no, no. We all are children of God. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shunicha Shopakecha Pandita Samadarshina. This is Krishna's statement. And this is, and because this education is not available, and the leaders are competing with one another for the interest of their own nations. How and what is their understanding of interest? Their understanding of interest is how to maximize sense enjoyment of my citizens. Each country is thinking the welfare of people means welfare of their body and their bodily sense enjoyment. Therefore, I must secure resources for my countrymen to enjoy their senses. And another country will compete. No, I want this for my countrymen to enjoy their senses. Because their goal is for maximizing sense enjoyment. Because they have no other understanding of what is welfare. Therefore, there will always be conflict. There will always be wars, differences between people. And especially given this age, this Kali Yuga, for the slightest reason, people become very, very antagonistic. They become very, very disturbed, and they end up in quarrel. And it is interesting to note the as people are, their goal is to maximize sense enjoyment, and they organize their societies to maximize sense enjoyment. As a result, it is said, Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma. A person whose goal of life is to simply maximize his sense enjoyment, either individually or collectively. Sense gratification individually at me and myself, or sense gratification a little more extended when it comes to my interest and my family's interest, our sense enjoyment. And then a little more extended, my community's sense enjoyment, and a little more, my nation. So as long as people have this goal of Nuvanam pramatta kurute vikarma yet indriya pritya aparnoti. This is Rishabhadev's teachings in Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, so long people have their goal of life as just to maximize sense enjoyment, like today's world, everybody is doing that. They will simply be indulging in various kinds of sinful activities. Various kinds of sinful activities. Like, for example, they will indulge in constructing large-scale slaughterhouses where innocent animals are slaughtered, are killed. Why? Because these people want to indulge in enjoying eating meat. That they want to satisfy their tongue, and they don't care. Somehow or the other, hook or crook, my tongue, I need to satisfy my tongue, and I need to serve all my people with a very nice, delicious meat. So therefore, yes, construct big, nice, mechanized slaughterhouses, and they're indulging in so many sinful activities. They encourage, yes, hundreds and hundreds of breweries so that they can nicely drink and enjoy their senses. And likewise, all their initiatives are in. So like this, when there is such enormous sinful reaction, sinful activities being committed by the people, there will be reaction. The nature will respond, and there will be arrangement for such wars, natural calamities, pandemics. One shot, they will face the consequence of their actions. There are laws of karma. They're very, very strict. Nobody gets away with these things. You indulged in causing pain to others, you must reap that pain in your life. And it will come in the form
of war, it will come in the form of disaster, it will come in the form of disease. Yes, nobody is spared. So in this connection, let us see some very interesting uh, quotes of Prabhupada from different places, which will help us to appreciate this. Prabhupada is saying in Journey of Self-Discovery, you are killing innocent cows and other animals. Nature will take revenge. Just wait. As soon as the time is right, nature will gather all these rascals and slaughter them. Finished. They will fight amongst themselves. Protestants and Catholics, Russia and America, this one and that one. It's going on. Why? This is nature's law. Tit for tat. You have killed, now you kill yourself. Elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada writes, 4th canto in the purport. In this age of Kali, the propensity for mercy is almost nil. Consequently, there is always fighting and wars between men and nations. Men do not understand that because they unrestrictedly kill so many animals, they also must be slaughtered like animals in big wars. This is very much evident in the Western countries. In the West, slaughterhouses are maintained without restriction. And therefore, every 5th year or 10th year, there is a big war in which countless people are slaughtered, even more cruelly than animals. Sometimes during war, soldiers keep their enemies in concentration camps and kill them in very cruel ways. These are reactions brought about by unrestricted animal killing in the slaughterhouse and by hunters in the forest. Proud demonic persons do not know the laws of nature or the laws of God. Consequently, they unrestrictedly kill poor animals, not caring for them at all. This Krishna consciousness movement is the only means by which sinful activities of men in this Kali Yuga can be counteracted. And this is in Prabhupada's correspondence with the Prime Minister, late Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru. The history of West, beginning from the time of the Greeks and the Romans, down to the modern age of atomic war, is a continuous chain of sense gratificatory materialism. And the result is that the Westerners were never in peace within the memory of 3,000 years of historical record. As I was showing you in that Wikipedia page of so many hundreds and hundreds in just last 75 years, I was just counting more than nearly 125 incidents of conflicts across just Europe alone. They were never in peace. Neither it will be possible for them at any time in future to live in peace till the message of spiritualism, just suitable to the present age, does not reach their heart. And so, to conclude, I would like to share this verse from the Bhagavad Gita, which tells us about how, if we wish to live peacefully, everybody wants to live a peaceful life. Nobody wants to have their home bombed. Who would like their home to be bombed and have no idea where I will get my food next? My job is gone, my home is gone, my family members is gone. Nobody wants to live in such horrible, horrible conditions as we're seeing unfolding in Ukraine now. So if we, for all those lovers of peace, everybody is a lover of peace. This is the formula. This is the peace formula as Lord Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita. And if you're really serious about living a peaceful life, we must take note of these simple threefold formula. If you ignore this, there will never be peace individually. There will never be peace within families. There will never be peace in communities. There will never be peace between nations. 100% guaranteed. What is this formula? This is, as Krishna says in the 5th chapter, 29th verse, Krishna is saying, Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhurdam sarvabhutanam yatva shantim richati. What is that? Bhoktaram yagna tapasam. Let me share this with you. I hope you're able to see the screen. Krishna is saying, this is the 5th chapter. I'll read the translation. The sages, knowing me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attain peace from the pangs of material misery. So what are those things? Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. Bhokta means the enjoyer. One must recognize Krishna to be the supreme enjoyer. He is the supreme enjoyer, and we are meant to engage and assist his enjoyment. We are meant to be enjoyed by Krishna because we are his servants. Servant is meant to serve the master. And that is the design of how we are created by the Lord. We are his amsha. We are his part and parcel. Jivera Sarubhai Krishnera Nitya Das. Unless we have this mentality of being a humble servant of God, Nitya Das, Jivera Sarubhai Krishnera Nitya Das. You are a dasa of Krishna. Dasa means a servant is always anxious to satisfy and please the Supreme Lord. And in pleasing the Supreme Lord is his happiness. He can remain in peace and he can enjoy ultimate happiness when he engages in serving Krishna and pleasing Krishna. That's why Krishna has to be considered as the Bhokta. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. And this is Krishna's words. That knowing me, Nyatva Mam, Krishna is saying me, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, as he is the proprietor of all planets. Everything belongs to Krishna. We are saying this is England, this is Ukraine, this is Russia. When there is an understanding that everything is Krishna's, everything belongs to Krishna. As Krishna is saying in the Isopanishad, he is saying, what is he saying? Ishavasyam idam sarvam yet Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena taktena bhunjita magradaha kasya siddhanam Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. Krishna is saying, I am the proprietor of the entire creation. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. So the moment we recognize Krishna as the proprietor, he is the proprietor. Everything you conduct here must be meant for his pleasure. Because if I own the house, somebody comes as a tenant in this house, the tenant must meet my terms and conditions. They must pay the rent that I ask them. Otherwise, you cannot stay here. Don't stay here in this place if you cannot meet my terms and conditions. That's the meaning of owner. So a tenant has to agree. Likewise, if the land belongs to Krishna, then where is the question of and if this is the consciousness that this land, this world belongs to Krishna, we must conduct ourselves for the pleasure of Krishna. And what pleases him? That you read. Bhagavad Gita will tell you what will please him. Krishna is saying, Manmana, Bhamad Bhakto, Madhyaji, Mam Namaskuru. Krishna is saying, so we should follow. So when you recognize Krishna as the Bhokta, when you recognize Krishna as the Sarvaloka Maheshwara, right now you are thinking, this land is Americans and we have to enjoy. There is no Krishna in picture. This land is Russian and all Russians have to enjoy. Or Putin has to enjoy. Or this land is Ukraine people have to enjoy. No, this land belongs to Krishna. Everybody has to utilize this land for serving Krishna. That consciousness should be there. Otherwise, there will always be a conflict. Each person will say, I want more land for my enjoyment, not enough for me. I'll conquer Taiwan, I will conquer this person, I'll swallow one more nation, and we want to increase our resources. I want more oil for my country. Another fellow also will fight. Suhridam sarva bhutana. Suhrit. Krishna is saying that I am the benefactor of all living entities. One should recognize Krishna as the benefactor. Krishna is saying, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja. A devotee who is faithful understands that If I take shelter of Krishna, everything will be auspicious in my life. Krishna is promising, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Sucha. Krishna is promising, saying that don't worry, I will take care of you. I will provide for whatever you lack. Ananyas Chintyanto Mam Yejana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. Krishna is saying, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham, I will take care. So Krishna has got faith, a devotee has got faith. My Krishna, who is the Supreme Lord, he is promising that if you surrender to me, I will take care. I will provide for all that you lack. Whatever sinful activities that you have done, doesn't matter. Don't worry. Now onwards, you be pure. Engage in my service. Everything will be auspicious. I have that faith. Why? Because Krishna will not cheat me. He is my Surat, my best friend, my best well-wisher. He will take care of me. What is impossible for him? So that I have that faith. So when people have this faith that Krishna is the Bhokta, Krishna is the Sarvaloka Maheshwara, Krishna is our ultimate Surat. And that is the duty of the government, to teach people, not to keep them in ignorance. First of all, you as leader, you should be aware of this principle of how people can, what is teaching, what is the God's design for living peacefully on this planet. You should first of all become aware and help people also. Create circumstances so that people can also gradually elevate themselves in their consciousness. This is called Ramarajya. This is called ideal government. And because people have ignored this, they have no understanding, and they're simply absorbed in animalistic, materialistic life, each one of them fighting for maximizing their sense gratification. There will always be disturbance, there will always be war, there will always be suffering, unfortunately. And that is our endeavor, to enlighten people. This Hare Krishna movement is the only hope for helping people to appreciate how to attain that peace that they're hankering for. Here is a here is a very interesting conversation which happened between a reporter. This was during the time in 1970s when there was India-Pakistan war. And at that time, Prabhupada was in Delhi, and the government was conducting many drills for possible air raids, and there would be blackouts. So they would ring the siren, and then everybody has to shut down all the houses, windows, so that no light goes up. So that nighttime, if light goes up, then there can be chances of bombing. So that time there was one reporter who had come to meet Prabhupada in New Delhi, and it's a very insightful conversation. We are always in ugly reality, Prabhupada said, 24 hours a day. Suppose there is no blackout. Still, if you go in the street, there is no guarantee that you will get home. In this way, you're always in ugly reality. Why do you say only this blackout? This is just one of the features of this ugly reality. He's just giving a preface to this conversation. So let's read from the beginning. Blackout, blackout, cried the reporter and others in the house. War between Pakistan and India had been imminent for weeks, and air raid drills and warnings were now commonplace in Delhi. Sir, the reporter spoke tensely in the darkened room. This is the presence of reality. We are being threatened by this fight with Pakistan. The siren is the ugly reality coming for us. We are always in ugly reality, Prabhupada said. 24 hours a day. Suppose there is no blackout. Still, if you go in the street, there is no guarantee that you will get home. In this way, you are always in the ugly reality. Why do you say only this blackout? This is just one of the features of this ugly reality. That's all. Reporter. Yes, but at the moment, Prabhupada, you do not realize that you are in ugly reality 24 hours a day. Padam padam yet vipadam. This is from the Bhagavatam. There is danger at every step. Reporter. I know, sir, but this is collective national danger. Have you anything to offer us as a remedy? Prabhupada, Krishna consciousness is our only remedy. Take to this process and you'll be happy. Reporter, sir, I think someone should go to Yahya Khan, the president of Pakistan. Prabhupada, what benefit will you derive by going to Yahya Khan? Reporter, someone is out to kill me. Prabhupada, but suppose Yahya Khan does not kill you, will you be safe? Then what is the use to go to Yahya Khan? You will die today or tomorrow. If you want to save yourself, then go to Krishna. That is our proposition. If you go to Yahya Khan and he does not fight, then you mean to say that you will live forever. What is the use of flattering Yahya Khan? Flatter Krishna so that you may be saved perpetually. Why don't you do that? Reporter, I was only thinking in terms of collective security. I can see your point. Prabhupada, you should know that you're always in danger. Reporter, yes, sir, we agree. The late Einstein said the same thing. Prabhupada, that is our position. And Krishna says, I will save you. Therefore, let us go to Krishna. Why go to Yahya Khan? Reporter, simply because he's disturbing us. That's all. Prabhupada, your mind is always disturbing you all the time because it is always with you. Your body is always with you. Are you not suffering from bodily pains? Why don't you go to Yahya Khan to cure your pains? You're always in danger. Why don't you realize that? So we can see Prabhupada is giving in this conversation instead of working towards some temporary solutions and again being embarrassed in the midst of anxieties, why not endeavor for a permanent relief from all anxieties by taking shelter of Krishna? And that is Prabhupada's proposition. So with that, we'll stop here, and if there are any questions or comments, we can discuss after we complete our one round of chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. Let me share the screen as we chant 108 times with Prabhupada.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
That was 108 times chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. If anybody has any questions, any comments on today's session, yes, please feel free. Yes, Isha.
Prabhuji, I have one weird question. Like, I mean, if we compare the Kurukshetra war with Ukrainian and Russian war, I mean, I want to know, like, what is the difference? Because even in Kurukshetra war, Krishna supported to fight for Pandavas, and he was at their side based on the rationale, like saving their fundamental rights or saving the dharma or whatever. So, I mean, does the same rationale apply here as well, Prabhuji?
See, that fight, Kurukshetra war was designed by Lord Krishna. He wanted to arrange a platform wherein all the demons can come together in one place and finish them off. So it was, as Krishna promises, Paritranaya sadhuna vinashayate dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So Kurukshetra war was meant for this purpose. Paritranaya sadhuna, to deliver his devotees. Paritranaya sadhuna. The Pandavas were the most exalted devotees. And Krishna wanted to offer them all protection, and he wanted the whole world to be under the protection of the Pandavas. Krishna wanted to enthrone Yudhishthira Maharaj as his representative, as a ruler of the whole king. Because when a devotee is ruling as the chief executive head, so he was the emperor of the whole world, Yudhishthira Maharaj, then automatically then there will be protection of dharma under his care. He will take steps to make sure that people don't indulge in sinful activities. They will get all opportunities to make advancement in their ultimate goal of life. So that is why the leadership, they should be aware of the principles of Bhagavad Gita. And vinashayata dushkritam, those who are demoniac people, who do not want to surrender to God, who are defiant of God and are miscreants. So these people, they must be finished. So that is why in the Mahabharata war, arrangement was made. The whole world, all the leaders came to one place and they were finished. So that is the case of, likewise, whenever people are, as a result, as and when, as we were reading the quotes of Prabhupada, whenever people become more and more sinful, then the nature will arrange circumstances by which people will kill each other. And that is what is happening here in Ukraine. When the burden of sinful activity increases, there will be war, there will be pestilence to reduce these demoniac population, demoniac people, restrain the demoniac activities. So while this is, these are all the causes that we know. As devotees, we feel sorry for the suffering, for what is going on, and we endeavor to bring peace both materially and spiritually. Somebody's mic is, that's Sindhu Mataji's mic. Isha, so are you there?
Against the sun.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I could hear you. No. Yeah, I understood, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot.
Okay, any other questions?
Bala Tapan Madhyano. No, Sapad will be going on now.
Thank you, everyone. I think, yes. Yes, with that, on that note, thank you very much for joining today's session. We'll look forward to meeting all of you again next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.